Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today's video is number 7 in my card making basics series. We're talking about adhesives today, so let's stick it! There are way too many adhesives here on this desk. Way too many. But I want to go through as many of them as I possibly can for you. So, let's move all of this off to the side. And hopefully none of it falls on the ground. Let's start with the basics. Let's start with the very, very basics. These are things that you're going to be completely and utterly familiar with and things that you're going to know. These are glue sticks. Glue sticks definitely have a place in adhesives in crafting, especially in card making. Everything I'm going to tell you today comes down to personal preference. It's whatever you want to use. Anything can be used on anything. You can use, if I tell you that the best thing to use is like a glue tape, you can completely ignore me and use, oh goodness, what's what I want. You can completely ignore me and you can use liquid glue instead. It's whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm going to talk about all of them so that you can kind of get an idea. So these are just glue sticks. This one's a repositionable one. This one's a permanent one. It's just a K one. It's probably dry actually by now. I haven't used it for so long. I don't tend to use glue sticks particularly often, but I do keep them on hand just in case. I'm actually looking forward to the day that Charlotte's crafting because she can use these. They are cheap, they generally work really, really well, and they're always a good thing to have just in case. While we're talking about basics, I am just going to include just plain old sticky tape for a second. You're probably sitting there going, you've never used sticky tape on your channel. I do. I use them in places you don't see. So sometimes, for example, if I'm doing a border, like sticking down a border and having it be maybe 2 or 3 stacked die cuts tall, and I want to adhere the background to that, I will use glue tape on the background. Oh, like not glue tape, sticky tape on the background, because it keeps it in place while the glue is drying. The fact that it's there, it's not going to hurt anything. It's thin. This one's invisible tape, so it's even better. But sticky tape, just general plain sticky tape, definitely has a place in crafting. Just tend to use it in places you don't see it because you don't want it to be the star of the show. The side note to that is obviously decorative washi tape, which is a whole other kettle of fish, and we're not talking about that in adhesives because we talked about washi tape in background. So we don't need to use it here, but you can use washi tape for that same thing if you don't have any regular tape. Alright, stepping up to the next level, things that I've been using for years, double-sided tape. When I used to scrapbook, yes I used to scrapbook, nobody knows that, double-sided tape was my friend, and I remember I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the little tiny rolls of them, and I used to hate it. I used to hate it because I hated getting, I don't have fingernails. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed. I'm a biter, proud of it. Not really proud, but you get the point. And I used to hate getting the tape off. I still do. I hate doing it with foam tape and stuff. But I now know about tweezers, so I use tweezers instead. I have lots of different kinds of double-sided tape. I mainly use Express It double-sided tape, but I have recently gotten hold of some of the Uniquely Creative double-sided tape, and so I want to give that a go as well. All the double-sided tapes you find are going to come in different widths. You have different widths because obviously you have different widths of things that you want to put down. If you're putting down a really super skinny border, then this is fantastic. If you're putting down a big die cut, this is fine. It's really, again, personal preference. I keep all of them on hand because I never know when I'm going to need them. They don't go bad, so you can have bunches of these. I reckon these 3 particularly have been in my collection for near on 3 or 4 years. I use them very irregularly. Tend to use double-sided tape more for things like sticking acetate onto shakers, or when I want to put dimension on something and I don't want to use foam tape. I want to use foam though. I don't want that really stiff kind of stacked thing. I really want a bit of give to it. I use the really cheap craft foam from Spotlight. This is just a brown, but I have lots of colours. And I use the double-sided tape on this. My glue tape won't work on this. Liquid glue works beautifully, but I do like the instant adhesion, I guess is the right word, of the double-sided tape because it's something that's not going to move, so I don't need to worry about it. I also do have this super strong, and I still don't want, I think it's called M tape, don't quote me on that. A subscriber sent this to me a really long time ago. It's super strong double-sided tape. Basically this stuff on steroids. It's super glue double-sided tape. Don't use it particularly often, but again is another really good one to have in your collection. Really great for when you want to do spinner cards and you need that really fine string or fishing line to sit still. This sort of stuff is brilliant for that. So you have that. Alright, let's move on to my favourite, and that is glue tape. I like dot runners, glue tape, whatever you want to call it. These are my preferred method of gluing, whether it comes to cards or onto planner pages. I just love them. I've done a whole big video, which I will link for you down below, on my quest for the ultimate glue tape. I tried every glue tape I could find, and do you know what one I ended up back with? The one I started. Thankfully, I have found a supplier for my refills. That's the part of this that I like the most, is that I can just buy refills. They are still expensive though. So if you can find another glue tape that you prefer, this is my holy grail, and now that I've used it, I can't go back. But if you do find something else, you can also get these in repositionable ones. This one's a permanent one. I can't find my repositionable one. Either I've used it all up or it's not there. But this one is one that will be, it's from Renoir. It's in a blue. Completely and utterly repositionable the entire time. This one is repositionable for about 20 minutes and then it becomes permanent. And that's what I love about it. I've got time to move with this. I've got time to change my mind. I've got time to pull it up and go, yeah, no, I don't like that. So that's why I love glue tape. But there's lots of other ways. The other thing is this is removable. So if you do happen to get some in an area that you don't want, little light rub with your finger or an eraser and the dots come up. Second favourite for me is definitely liquid glue. Now, I am a proponent, I don't think that's the right word. I like the Tombow Mono liquid glue. There are literally bazillions of different kinds of glue you can get. Regular PVA will be fine. It's not, you don't need to go fully crazy with different glues. PVA glue works brilliantly, and I know lots of card makers that just use PVA glue. I do like this one. I just feel like it gives me a bit more, but then I haven't played with PVA glue for a little while, so perhaps I need to go back and try that. I did used to keep it in the actual packaging that it comes in. The Tombow one's really good because it comes with a little fine tip and also comes with a broad tip, so if you're coming and you want to do like a whole page, you can just down the side. Stands up too. And I also have a little holder that holds it upside down. But I have recently, and I say recently, but it's probably been 6 months, grabbed one of these. These are the, I think this one's a Couture Creations fine tip one. I know Gina K make them, and I'm pretty sure Craft For You make one as well with a precision tip. The reason I like this is because it can really get those skinny things. This does really well. It does clog. I find this one clogs up a lot more than my fine tip one. I keep a little needle on hand and just poke it if it gets stuck, because it does dry in there, and I just fill it up. It's just easy as. If you like the little bottles of the Couture Creations or the Gina K, great. The one from Crafts For You is much bigger, so that might be a better choice if you like the big bottles. Still staying with the liquidy kind of things, I feel like I just need to show a couple more liquidy kinds. So this is the Sakura Quickie Glue Pen. I use this one a lot for if I want something really fine. This one's actually a brand new one, but it's got like a pen nib and glue comes out of it. Great for using for if you want to write a word and put glitter or embossing powder on top if you don't have an embossing pen. Fantastic for adding little dots and putting glitter on top or putting embossing powder on top. I really like this. I don't use it on a regular basis, but it's one of those things that when you don't have, like if you have one, you'll find ways to use it, and I do reach for it reasonably often. These are two that kind of went by the wayside while I was trying to find the kinds of glue that I liked. This one is the Zig two-way glue squeeze and roll. I still didn't quite work out what the two-way was. Oh, you can either, righto, you squeeze it in the glue. I don't know. Anyway, didn't particularly like this one. I didn't find the adhesion really nice. So that was why this one went by the wayside. But you can get pens if pens are more your thing as opposed to tubes. Some of the pens are good. And then there's always the good old-fashioned glue tube. This is from Lawn Fawn. They do come from Hero Arts, Gina K Designs. Like, well, there's hundreds of them. I just ran out. And I just haven't bought more. I just tended to reach more for my Tombow. This was still a really good glue. I really liked it. I liked the pen shape. I liked the nozzle on it. It didn't get clogged particularly often. It was just that I prefer the Tombow, but there's nothing about this that was bad. So if you like the Lawn Fawn's great. This is something that I don't use for glue, but I do know you can. It's Glossy Accents. I just think Glossy Accents is too good to waste behind anything. But I have seen lots of people use it as an adhesive tool, so I just wanted to chuck that one in there because you can use it. It does stick things down. I tend not to. I have just remembered one more that wasn't in the original pile that I just wanted to get out as well. This is the range of MultiMedium Matte. If you're someone that likes to collage, if you like to put like a whole piece of paper on your background or stick something full, then something like this is really good. This is a really old one. This is actually one that Denise gave me the rest of because she's so kind and I couldn't find any in the stores at the time. But really good for like proper pasting, like grabbing yourself a big brush, doing the whole page of it and sticking stuff down. It also is a good sealer, so if you want to put something like a layer of matte coverage on the top of something so that you've got an actual finish. I'm trying to explain where you'd use that. If you've used like lots of different pieces of paper and you want to make sure they all lay down flat, this one's got a matte finish. You can obviously get gloss ones as well, but something like this is great. It's fantastic for collaging and sort of paper, those kind of paper crafting endeavours that you want to do. So there's that one. Last thing before we move into specialty is foam. Now I use foam tapes, foam dots, foam squares. Not on every card I make, but a lot. I am slowly coming away from foam a little bit more unless I'm making shaker cards, and that's just because I do sometimes like to stack them using extra pieces of cardstock. Sometimes I like the foam. And I have lots of different ones. These are Express It ones mainly, but these two are from Craft For You. And it's all about not only the width of the tape, but the height of the tape. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're talking about foam tape. So these two look like very similar widths, but they've got different heights. So this one is probably 2 mils and this is probably 4 mils. Does it make a big difference? No, but when you've got them on a card and you can see the variations of height on your critters, that's when these come into their own. That's why I love them. So I've got, this one's probably 5 mil. That's probably 4. That's probably 3 or 2. This one's definitely a 1. And so is that one. The thinner they are, the less height there's usually on them. You can obviously stack these on top of each other too. Just keep that in mind as well. So they come in foam rolls, which are so easy to use. Great for, like I said, for shakers and stuff like that. But they also come in squares and circles, depending on how you like to use them. These are the Uniquely Creative squares and strips. I love these. They're 2 mil high. They come in the little square shapes. I'll get one that's already open. I cut little parts out of them if I need something tiny. I love the strips. They're brilliant for shakers. They make my life so easy because I don't have to cut these in halves or quarters. And they just come in little squares. You can cut them up into triangles or into tinier squares if you need them. They're very easy to work with. Love those. We'll never stop loving those. These are the Couture Creations foam squares. As you can see, they're still in the package, which means I haven't used them yet. But they are super tiny ones. I don't know if you can quite see that, but they are tiny little squares. Just good to have different sizes. And then these ones are circles, but they're black. So if you're someone that likes to use a lot of black backgrounds and stuff, and you want something to blend in as opposed to being white and sometimes standing out, sometimes having black foam is really good. I actually had the black foam tape from Gina K Designs for a while. I really liked it, but it was a little bit too tacky. It was just as soon as you put it down, you were done. And I like to have just a little bit of give. These ones are again from Couture Creations. They've got a bit more give to them, but you can see they're just a little black dot with some foam, which is just easy to use. So I've got those two. The last thing when it comes to foam, this one I'm chucking in. I haven't used this yet. I'm going to make that really clear. Haven't used it yet. I only bought it the other week. But I wanted to add it because it's something that I think I might enjoy. Again, for the same reasons that you use a black foam dot, you might want to use a clear foam because you don't want to be able to see that foam sitting behind whatever you're using. If you're using acetate, which I have some ideas, which is where this is going to come in later. If you're using acetate or vellum and you want it to just disappear, this is a silicone foam tape, or silicone tape it's called. It is again from Craft For You. I got it at Paperific. I'm going to give this a go, but I wanted to include this because you can get clear. So you can get white foam, you can get black foam, now you can get clear foam. And I think that's really cool. Okay, last couple of ones are kind of specialty. So stuff that you don't need. You don't need all these ones. Find which one works for you. But to me, if you have a good liquid glue, a good foam tape, a good adhesive, like double-sided tape, and a good dot runner, they're the 4 essentials for me. They're the ones that I can't live without because I use them regularly. I use them regularly for different things, but I do use them regularly. These ones are more specialty. I use them sometimes. I don't use them always. The first ones are glue dots. I've seen lots of people that do all of their card making with glue dots. I can't do it. They're a little bit picky for me. These ones are removable. These ones are extra strong. They're both from Bostick, which is from Officeworks. I like these. I tend to use them on little fiddly things. So if I'm putting like a bow on a card and actually using a ribbon, I'll use something like this. They are clear. They're instant. Like they sit down there. You're going to get that glue straight away. I'll just show you them really quickly. They come on these little packages. These ones I find are just like, they're pretty big. Like they're that. I'll show you in a zoom. You're not going to be able to see it from the camera up the top. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4. That's 4. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16. I'm really bad at maths. 16 on a sheet. You get probably like 15 sheets in there. I have used a lot of them. Oh, there's only 4 sheets of 16 glue dots. I thought you got more than that. 4 sheets of 16 glue dots. I mustn't have been using them very much. They're not very expensive though, so they're good to have. These ones are the ones that I prefer though. These are the mini glue dots from Glue Dots. Very traditional name. They come on a big long roll and you just sort of stick them off as you go. These are the ones that you need for the Magic Iris from Lawnform, which is why I bought them, but I have found I use them for a couple of things. I prefer the small ones. I'm sure these come in mini sizes as well. But I do like the mini glue dots because they do tend to hide things, which I prefer. Okay. I feel like I missed something. I'll come back to it. So these are the Express It adhesive sheets. This is a full piece of adhesive. That's really all it is. This is one that I've used before. You can just pull it off and it's got adhesive on both sides and you just remove the paper. If you're cutting a really intricate little die and you're a little bit nervous about putting glue on the back of it, whether it's putting liquid glue on it because you don't want it to pop out the edges, or putting glue tape on the side because you don't want the same thing, or you don't want to like tear it, having a sheet like this is great. So you stick it down to whatever you're cutting out in the first place and you run it through the die cut together, so when it comes out it's already turned into a bit of a sticker. Fabulous if you can get your die to go through it. Sometimes I do have trouble. I always use a metal shim when I'm using this one because otherwise it just won't cut properly. I love these for adding to those intricate die cuts. They're great. They also come in black if you want to do a black. Do they come in black? No, they don't, because it doesn't matter the adhesion. The foam tape comes in black. There is also double-sided foam tape that's like that. So it's basically some of this that has adhesive on both sides as already. I do have some. I can't find it right now. But that's also from Express It. You can get those adhesive foam sheets. But these are just another really cool thing to have on hand for different things. I'm just going to add one more little thing. These are great for big things and for cutting out for dies. If you already have little things that you're a little bit worried about adding adhesive to, and it has to be little, something like this is actually really cool as well. This is my Xyron sticker maker, and it turns everything into a sticker. You can get a bigger version of this. I've never found I needed anything more than this, and I've had this for seriously 15, 20 years. You put the little whatever you want in here, you pull it out and it turns it into a sticker. Again, for those really, really intricate little things that you don't want to like rubber glue over the top of, that's where this comes in handy. It's also fantastic for vellum because you can't see the adhesive. It's really, really clever. I like that one. Other things for intricacies are these micro dot sheets. These are very new to my craft room. I've only used these a few times, but I actually really like them. So these ones are the Card Deco Essentials ones. I got these from Catchy Crafts down, no it wasn't, it was Craft Zone, apologies, down at Geelong Picture to Page. And they've just got, so it's a like a sticky sheet with a cover. You pop this off and the whole thing is made up of micro glue dots. And what you do is you put your die cut on here, you shut it, you burnish it with a score tool or even just your hand, and the dots stick just to where it is. You pull it off and then you can stick it down. These two, like I said, are from Craft Zone and they work really well. These ones are from Simon Says Stamp. Dawn got these. She bought them for everybody and I just happened to grab some. But the exact same thing. I found that the Simon ones aren't as sticky as the Craft Zone ones. Oh, I say that and then I can't move my finger off. I just picked up a few. Different stickinesses are good for different situations. So that's fine with me. I like having different ones. But you could put anything behind these. I want to try acetate and vellum behind these. That's the next thing on my list. Not something I have experimented with fully to this point, but something that's, again, if you're an adhesive person, good to have everything. While we're talking about everything, these are the last things I'm going to talk about. A spray adhesive is, again, if you don't have the ability to cut it out, so the sheets are really good if you can cut it out yourself. If this is already a really intricate die cut that you've bought from somewhere and it's too big to go through your sticker thing and you don't have the dots, something like a spray adhesive is really useful. This one's an acid-free one, so it's great to use on everything, but it is a permanent one. This one I got from Big W a really long time ago. I very rarely use it, but it's, again, another one of those things that I'd rather have than have to go out and find. This one, though, is something that I've been looking for a really long time. This is Pixie Spray. Julie from Handmade Heaven got this one for me, but you can also get it from Little Bits here in Victoria. It took me a long time to find it, but now that I have, I want to tell everybody where I found it. This is a temporary one, so this is good if you're using a stencil, if you want to mask something off. I haven't talked about masking in this video. I feel like I should have, but I haven't. If you want to know a little bit about masking, please let me know and I'll do like a little additional video at the end of these ones. But this is just a light tack one to help with those sort of things. If you want something that's going to be able to come off, this is your go. This is the one that all of the crafters use. So that's the one that I would recommend for anything repositionable. But if you do want a spray adhesive, they're a good thing to add to your collection. Alright, I think I've talked about every possible combination of glues and adhesives that I possibly can. It's like everything else I've been talking about. It comes down to personal preference and budget. If you are a crazy person like me and you have to have all the different kinds and make sure you've tried everything, then go ahead, grab all the different kinds. But I'm hoping that these kind of videos are going to be able to help you curate your collections a little bit more. So if you are just getting started in crafting, you don't need all of these. You just need the one that works for you. If you like double-sided tape, if double-sided tape is your jam and you like using it and it's easy for you because you've got long fingernails and you like the adhesion, don't worry about the others. You don't need it. This is fine. This will get you through 99.99% of everything you need to do, to the point that you don't even have to get foam tape because you can use the foam square, like the foam sheets, and this will work fine. It's whatever works for you and what you prefer. I like to have the whole array because I like to be able to use different glues for different projects. But you don't need to do it. You really don't. Oh, one other quick thing that the spray adhesive is really good for, ribbons. If you want to put ribbons down on your card and you're worried about them fraying at the end, something like a spray adhesive will do a really good job of making sure that those edges don't fray. So just a little side note. So that's it for part 7. I think I have 2 to go, I think. I know I wrote a list down, but now I can't find it. My craft room's a bit of a mess at the moment. Couple more videos of these to go. If there's anything you want more information on, like if you want a masking video, please let me know. I'm happy to add that onto the end of my little system. You can leave me a comment down below. Of course, you can find my socials. If you haven't seen the other parts of this series, they will be linked in a playlist at the top in just a second, so you can go and check those out. If you did enjoy this one, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you're following me everywhere else that I am around. I hope you have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles!